Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of the Movie Mavens. I'm Deandra, this is Dara, and today we're going to be reviewing a remake of The Karate Kid starring Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan.
Dre, you ready? I feel like we're on a quest to start a new life.
I actually liked it a lot. I was very impressed with this remake.
Look at that, Dre.
I thought that the acting was great. I really liked the storyline. I've never actually seen the original Karate Kid. I thought just as a standalone film, it was really, really good, really well made. Just the whole scenario of them, you know, having moved to China, a stranger in a strange place. I thought it was a story that could resonate with anyone.
Yeah. I felt like the mom tended to give the child a little too much freedom.
I thought so too.
I did have a friend that expressed some concerns about the racial tensions in the film, the whole Asians against blacks kind of thing, and you know, the little boy ends up winning out in the end. But I felt like they actually really handled that pretty well. They never really addressed race in the film, but it was kind of the elephant in the room. But they really did a good job with addressing it without directly addressing it. So I felt like that was really handled carefully.
Take off your jacket.
I got into it as an adult, and I felt like the children really got into it for the great fight scenes and, you know, the way it focused completely on Jaden Smith. It was his film. It was Jaden Smith's film. And I thought he did a really good job. He did a great job with it, I thought. Not as good as The Pursuit of Happiness. I didn't think he was allowed to make the kind of nuanced performance that he did with The Pursuit of Happiness. But still, you know, for what this was, I thought he did a great job.
I thought he did actually better in this movie than in The Pursuit of Happiness.
Wow.
I really, you know, I watched, you know, the scenes where he had to cry, and yeah, he did that in The Pursuit of Happiness, but I saw him, I just felt like he conveyed a pretty wide range of emotions in this film, you know, fear and, you know, crying when he got hit, real tears.
The film was strikingly beautiful. I really enjoyed. They really made the most of the setting, which was, of course, Beijing. And from what I understand, they really had unprecedented access to some of those locations, the Forbidden City and the Great Wall of China. Not many filmmakers have been able to use those locations, and they really took advantage of them. It's visually very beautiful and stunning, and it's if you can see it in the theater, try to catch it in the theater. It's worth spending the few extra dollars to see it in the theater versus renting it if you can.
We didn't get a chance to talk about Jackie Chan yet, and I remember just watching some of his interviews, and he said that he wanted people to come away from this film feeling like he was not a fighter that could act, but that he was actually an actor who could just fight. You know, something like that. That he was to be known more for his acting than his fighting.
Right. Well, he did have a great scene in the film, and I won't give too much away, but there was a scene where he was really allowed to show more depth than what I've ever seen Jackie Chan show. So, yeah, he did kind of dig deep for Jackie, and yeah, I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Taraji P. Henson, though, you know, she was Taraji. She was just the same character that she plays in all of the, you know, all of her other films, the Tyler Perry film or whatever, and you know, there was no real stretching that was going on there. That was kind of actually one of the things I was sort of disappointed at, is that the relationship between the mom and the son. It basically came down to whether or not he picked up his jacket off the floor. She just kind of came to China and started this new job and just let him kind of go, roaming the streets of Beijing, and you know, I thought that was a little odd.
I had a problem with that too.
Yeah, but I guess that's probably the role that a lot of parents are relegated to in these kid films. It's all about the kid, and the parents just this sort of stick figure in the background, and you know, pick up your coat off the floor, and that's pretty much all they have to offer. So it's not really a surprise that they didn't give her more to do. There were a couple of tender, you know, precious moments where some of the smaller children seemed to get a little fidgety. I noticed people were getting up and going to the bathroom. But, you know, that's just, it's the story arc, and you make, you know, allowances for that. But I didn't feel like the film slowed down at all, really. It went at a really fast pace, especially compared to the old one. I didn't even notice that it had gone over, you know, an hour and a half or so.
Yeah, I did notice, but it didn't bother me. In the final analysis, I thought that it had great cinematography. Overall, I mean, great acting. great fight scenes. Overall, I thought it was well worth it. I was very pleased, not disappointed.
Now I felt the same way. I felt like actually some of the language, some of the downsides would be the language. There was a little bit of language, so if you have like smaller children that may be sensitive to that, or you may be sensitive to it, then maybe that's something to just kind of wait and let them see when they're a little older. I was a little disappointed in that because I felt like if a film is PG, you should kind of be able to trust that there's not going to be certain language in it, but maybe that's just too much to ask. But you know, other than that, the language, maybe the flat characterizations of some of the adults, but other than that, I felt like it was a very well-rounded film. One of, you know, a really great kids film that also is accessible to adults, and that's kind of how I tend to judge kids films. It's like, can I sit down and watch it? If I can't get through it, then you know, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But I don't think there's any reason why a children's film cannot be entertaining to adults as well. And this one definitely was. It definitely was.
It was.
So our connector's charge, I would say that it's fine for older children, probably, you know, 9 and up. If you have sensitivity to language, you know, probably don't go see it because it is like the child who's doing the cursing. But other than that, I would say definitely, I would recommend it to all of you connectors out there. Okay, so take this information and pass it on. See you next time.
He's not your everyday on the block. He knows how to work with what he's got, making his way to the top. He often gets a comment on his name. People keep asking.